Hello everyone, welcome to what will be the second look of the Autumn Tour, and that is because my screen recording crashed and I am now having to re-record my reaction to things. So we're going to do it in an abbreviated format, and I'm just going to hit on the major points, and some of you may prefer that. Anyway, so here we go. Let's just start off by going back to the news and taking a look at what this tour has to offer in general. So we have the Autumn Celebration. We have a series of tours that have been previewed on the Twitter page. I will provide an image on the screen right here. And basically, the next tour will be the Halloween tour. They showed a brand new Waluigi alt, which is fantastic. We have a character that's not cutting in line for a change. Much deserved alt. It's been since 2019 since the last Waluigi, which is very nice. But you see that there are two high ends that will be in the token shop, as well as the return of Blue Yoshi in the ranked rewards. And then the question mark tour, which, look, we were expecting a Team Rally tour to be the second tour in this frame, since that is the anticipated time of the expert challenges switching over, and the rally tours have always coincided with that, but that will be the Halloween tour and the return to London. So now we have this question mark tour, which might they have a autumn themed track? It's certainly possible, but it could just be another rally tour. There's a range of possibilities there, but we do see that there will be 4 high ends in the token shop and a brand new super that will be a ranked reward for that tour. So very cool things to stay tuned for in the Autumn Celebration. Now, if we take a look here, we have Waluigi bus drivers available in these Autumn Challenges 1 series, which is available for 2 tours, the first 2 tours in this event, and there will be an Autumn Challenges 2 that will become available starting at the beginning of the Halloween tour and cross into the final mystery tour of this celebration. Total points challenge is up to 700k. There's a lot more rewards, more rubies, more tickets, just like I was preparing you guys for. However, 700,000 to obtain all those rewards, but I really think that's not going to be a problem. We have the jack-o'-lanterns back that help with this new token event and crashing opponents and these pumpkins in order to get the tokens. Therefore, the scores across the board will be much higher, and I don't think the 700,000 will be an issue for anyone here. I certainly hope not. Any more difficult than the 600,000, that is. Granted, if you are a new player, 600,000 is a lofty expectation that you can't expect to hit right as you're starting off. We see that there is 3 free pipes. I already opened up one. It was the Koopa Clown cart, a super cart, very nice. And I already have the next 2 waiting, which I will go into after we take a look at the pipes. So, real quick GP gift, we have gold Tanooki parafoil, which is the complement to the Tanooki parafoil that is in the pipe that we'll go into right now. So, Tanooki Mario has the super leaf. That comes as a surprise to no one. We saw the trailer last week. They already revealed the special item and what it does. Hits the nearby opponents and it collects the coins in close proximity. The starting value for Tanooki Mario, 8 tracks, and 2 of which are in ranked mode for week 1. We have Maple Treeway and Choco Island 1 RT. It does get a week 2 ranked track as well with Ghost Valley 1R. However, that track is populated by Coinbox drivers and the Super King Boo, as is the case for Maple Treeway, not for supers, but Coinboxers in the form of Gold King Boo and Bowser Santa. Is this character worth pulling for? Look, Tanooki Mario is a beloved character. If you have nostalgia for this Mario character, by all means go on and pull on this pipe. Do it responsibly with 450 rubies. I'll get into the value of Mario in just a little bit. Let's take a look at this cart now, the Tanooki cart, and it's starting off with 9 tracks of value, which is tied for the most historically in Mario Kart Tour. Now, that's not sensational. Many karts have started off with 9 tracks. That's a good sign because karts and gliders have a more precipitous drop-off of their added value over time. That's how Nintendo has done it in the year 2021. That trend could change. However, it has been a consistent trend throughout the entire year. So I am advising as such. That means that this kart is starting off with a great amount of initial value. And if we take a look, Donut Plains 2 RT is ranked mode for week 2. Choco Island 1 RT is ranked brand new track for this week, as well as Maple Tree Way RT is a level 6 unlock. So if you want to go all in on this kart, I anticipate that it will have a good amount of value. Now, I would not pull personally from my account on this pipe because it does have a considerable amount of overlap with karts such as the Zoom Room, which I am already heavily invested into. So in my sake, it really doesn't make sense to go in for this kart, but I do foresee this kart being of considerable value. Not necessarily top 10 or 20, certainly possible for that. The skill holds it back. I personally don't take the skill into account when I pull for these karts. It's purely the track coverage and what that kart has to offer you. On the flip side, we have the Tanooki Parafoil, and this is on the flip side of the spectrum. It's only starting off with 7 tracks of value, which is tied for the worst for gliders, and the most amount of value that you're going to see on all items, but particularly karts and gliders, is in its initial tour. So it already has a hurdle to overcome moving forward if it's not paid back through the addition of new tracks, which, as we are already aware, next tour introduces London, which is a city tour. So it could perhaps gain that number of track value back, but in the form of city tracks, which might not spell too well for its long-term value here. And then once it gets to the 4th tour and beyond, the value of these gliders in the 100 pipes dries up because what Nintendo does in terms of paywalling tracks to make the game profitable, to keep players needing new items, is the most paywalled items are these gliders, and the ones that you get from the Spotlight pipes are not as valuable as the drivers and karts that you get. Think about things like the Ramby Runner, right, or Black Birdo. There are very few gliders that come into these 100 pipes that have that same pedigree. They usually start off as packs first. If you think about things that have been 100 pipe spotlights like the Black Great Sail or the Silver Manta glider that have been ranking high up, in those rankings they started off as pack items and then they later came into pipes. So certainly items that come in that are introduced like this generally don't have a great amount of value. One of the better ones has been the toe bean balloons and the black toe bean balloons, but the black toe bean balloons was an exception similar to that of the Ramby Runner, and that started off with enormously more value than what you see here. So be advised, look, these trends are not absolute, but they are very consistent. So you can take this information to your bank and informing yourself of the value of these items. Now, let's get into the other driver that was released in this tour, or I should say will be released in this tour, and it will come in the form of a 50 pipe without a spotlight. Here she is, Tanooki Rosalina. Now, I put out a major value alert before she even came out, and I hope that that built up the hype because I believe the hype will be real. She starts off with 9 tracks of value. It's tied for the second most. 9 is a very it's a common, but it's a very strong starting point of value. The most ever has been 10 tracks, and that was with Peach Happy, and her value has continued to excel as these tours have moved on forward. And if we see here, she is granted with 2 tracks, returning tracks, mind you, of ranked value in week 2, and she has the week 1 brand new track, Choco Island 1 RT, as the level 6 unlock. So she will cost you a lot to be able to use it in week 1, but I do believe that if you pull and obtain this driver, she will carry you quite a bit moving forward. And the reason for that is because, yes, it is a 50 pipe, but there isn't going to be a spotlight by all accounts. And what that ultimately means is that fewer people will have access to her on their account, and Nintendo must source this data, right? And it makes sense that Nintendo would source this data because they want to encourage their players to pull on the new items that they put the effort into making, and it helps their revenue. It keeps the game alive, it keeps things fun, and it essentially funds future content that we're all very much looking forward to, right? Look at it that way. Now, her value, look, I can't put a number on where she will end in the rankings. However, I will tell you that it will be greater than Tanooki Mario, and that's by all existing trends. If the reverse were to happen, it would be very unprecedented. And if we take a look at the top shelf for the new track, I can kind of illustrate why that is with the value of Mario. And that is, what you see here is there's two Daisy characters, which is I don't want to say it's not conventional, because it is somewhat frequent that they will have two of the same character type in the top shelf. Whether it be, two Daisies, two Marios, two Peaches, it does happen, and somewhat frequently, but it's extremely rare to see three. It has happened in a few situations, such as that in the New Year's 2021 tour, when we had that major Mario pipe with, I believe it was it 10 high-end or 9 high-end Mario drivers in the spotlight, in which case many of them ended up being top shelf in ranked mode for the week which that pipe was running. But generally speaking, it's going to be one or two of each character makes its way into the top shelf, and that helps promote the diversity, and that helps fill in the schedule, because these characters do come out at certain points in the year, and they accrue their value, and they cool down at very specific and predictable times for the most part. And given the oversaturation of the character Mario, no single one of his character is flying extremely high, right? There are many that have considerable value, such as Halloween Mario, but a lot of times they are just given like 2 or 3 paywall tracks, and then it's time for the next Mario to receive the favor as such, and it goes on like that. And that is one of the general philosophies and ideas for why the value of Mario is the way it is in relative to the other characters, such as a Rosalina, who doesn't have as many alts and has fewer competition in terms of filling those slots. Now, unfortunately, I don't get to share my breakdown of how ranked mode ended, but let's take a look. Maybe my stats will show an update here. So if we go to past tour stats, is this updated? Let's see, no, they only have the Sydney tour still. That's unfortunate. I wonder when that will come out for the 2nd anniversary tour. Maybe they will provide that in the news. But what I wanted to share is that in week 1, I came in 2nd place. I scored the minimum needed in order to come in 2nd place, and then I was like, my expectations were mixed. For week 2, it depended on what kind of a throttle they would show, and it was actually very light for a majority of the player base, and I did a mega underbake. In fact, one whole track I didn't even race on. It was a multiplayer run for Berlin Byways 2R. That was tremendous. I got by on, it was like 10K on that run, and I had 25K each on the other 2 tracks, London as well as New York Minute for RT with the Kongs. And I had a sensational run on London Loop at the last minute. It was 30K triple banana frenzy run that completely smashed the run of my coin frenzy runs. But I quit because I was already 1K ahead of my 2nd place opponent, and there was no reason to go any further beyond that. But it was quite sensational to see just what Triple Bananas is capable of. And what has that set up for me this week? Well, this is what we're looking at here. I'm already up against 67,000 is my top opponent. I went through a lot of them are tier 57 with similar kinds of scores and similar kinds of inventories, which is interesting. They must have it set for a particular standard, but here we can see that there's even a bunch of sleepers down below here that will surely score higher. So currently it's 16K, the gap between first place and tearing down. But that might shrink because some of these sleepers will move up and it will be more clustered together. So we'll see how this week progresses. Let me just give a quick ranked rundown. So on the brand new track, which I already did a run for here, we have Toadette Explorer. Many of these other characters are heavily exposed, such as Lederhosen Luigi was in multiple pipes last tour. Tanooki Mario, many of you will be pulling for that, and I wish you good luck when you do so. Daisy Swimwear, I gave the early announcement on the channel here. By looking at the data, I made the conclusion that she would become a paywall warrior. I said it before it happened, and now it's 3 tours in a row, folks. Look, I've gone through the data. I cannot wait to share it with you. I've had a lot of things going on, and what I will end up doing is I will do that in segments, and that will provide the community a chance to share feedback with me, and I can use that to tailor the program further and make it more useful for your own enjoyment. I think that's a win-win for all parties involved. But I was out front on Daisy Swimwear, and even before I mentioned it in my content on YouTube, on the Discord, I was mentioning prior to that even that after her 5th tour, she would become a force, and she has been quite the tour de force. And Pala-Daisy has been more exclusive, so that's one that you may be less likely to have, but if you're a Legacy Day 1 player, you're more likely to have that. So cards, I do not have the top shelf here. Many of you pulled for the Silver King, and that is very good for you. I instead went for the Zoom Room, and I predicted that the Silver King would have nice value. I did not see those city tours coming, which did hamper its value a little bit. I went with the Zoom Room because the coverage overlapped the drivers that I'm invested in more. And this is something that, you know, I really want to emphasize here on the channel. Just don't focus on any single ranking system in terms of inventory. There are very valuable tools that you should make use of. I'm not saying don't make use of them. I'm just saying provide your own context to all the information you're getting, because it's a highly individualized game. And if you're not playing an individualized strategy, there's leaks going on throughout your game. And, you know, I work tirelessly here to share my approach, and hopefully that has an impact on how you perceive your own games in your own way. I'm not telling you how to play. I'm sharing my viewpoint, and then you can adopt things and customize them for yourself. That's what this is all about. So for me, I saw this cart and its initial value. It overlapped with the Kongs in numerous places. And what do you know? It comes out with Maple Tree Way RT alongside DK Jr. So it's yet another example of how this cart has overlapped with the value that I already pulled on. It's worked out swimmingly. This is what you need to look at and consider when you go into these pipes, is not just, okay, what's its end term value, right? Like the Ramby Runner, I hit that one out of the park, but I didn't pull on that pipe because I was like, oh, hey guys, that's gonna be the #1 cart in the game. That's not how it works. I knew, depending upon the range of value that that cart would get, I suspected it would be a high value cart, but not necessarily the #1 cart. And I wanted to make that a centerpiece of my strategy. If you see, look, I'm in tier 54, free to play. You can see where my rubies are at. Look, I don't do a ton of pipe pulls. I don't believe in the pipe. I don't think the pipes are tied to your success. It's a dark element of the game. I do caution responsible play out of everyone in the audience, and I sure do hope that you have fun when you pull on the pipe. For me, it's very stressful. I want to make sure that I have fun and I can have a great time and share that experience with all of you when I come on and do that. I don't want it to be stressful and nerve-wracking. I don't think any of you would like to see that either. So that's my approach for things. Certainly, if they come out with a brand new Kong, something that would be really wonderful for a fan of those characters as I am, it would be instant and it would be a lot of fun. So that's the sort of thing that I'm waiting out on. In terms of pulling for inventory, I'm going to do that selectively, and I do that gauging my own progress and looking at my own sets of metrics. And if we take a look at my ticket counts here, I don't burn my tickets either. So everything is extremely conservative gameplay, and it's manipulating the systems that operate. The unfairness of ranked mode, as players say, can be taken advantage of through studying the mechanics. I've shared a number of them with you on the channel in the Resource Masterclass, in my videos where I come on and talk about how I performed in ranked mode, how I angle my strategy in ranked mode, and I share it on the Discord, and I listen to your situations and provide you with the best feedback that I can. Hopefully it makes an impact, and I certainly encourage all of you to leave me comments if you're unsure about these things, because I am willing to help you. But you can see that my resource game is top-notch, and I'm not going to just pull on pipes for ranked mode. That's not the way it works. Anyway, let's just do a race on Maple Tree Way. I still have 2 free pipes left, but ultimately I have this Dixie Kong, right? And she's likely going to bring in more difficult opponents. I've already looked at the loadouts. Most of them are better than me. However, my loadout for Maple Treeway is quite competitive because I can invest into this Crowley cart, and the DK maximum is actually on multiple tracks. It's also on Sunset Wilds T, which creates a dilemma. However, the head honcho is in the tier shop, which is Sunset Wilds T, so I could purchase the head honcho in the tier shop to save myself a ticket, and then not apply that ticket to the DK maximum, but apply it to my superior inventory item, which would be this Crowley cart, which is what I was hoping to do. I didn't expect the DK maximum to be in 2 ranked tracks. However, it was just in a paid pack in the last tour, so it makes a lot of sense that they are showing it that much exposure in ranked mode. And here we have the swooper. So let's just do a run right here. Let's see what we can get. I know for certain with these jack-o'-lanterns, I could get probably 38, maybe 40K. Certainly if I invest, I mean, I could maybe even, if I took the card up really high, I could get 45K or more. So, I mean, the sky is the limit there. So let's see. Hopefully that gets me my crash in the glider section, which is the final challenge quest that I have to clear. Is that a mega mushroom behind me? It may have been. Alright. My line is very sloppy on this. I'll have to clean that up when I do my actual run. So it looks like the Crowley card goes pretty well through that section, which is a concern, because if you touch the invisible wall there, then it can stop your mini turbo from activating and drop the combo, which isn't too friendly. And that's an interesting point to bring up with the philosophy of hitbox, is that hitbox is certainly optimal for collecting track coins, for collecting coins from coin boxes, but there are certainly situations, and I know many of you have brought that up in the various chat groups, is that sometimes you actually want a small hitbox. If you're using a character like Funky Kong who has Banana Barrel, then the small hitbox will help you avoid your own bananas, which is certainly very important for keeping combo and also getting to first place unopposed, because everybody else will be hitting on those bananas. I mean, certainly that is the case for things like Donkey Kong on RMX Rainbow Road 1T as well, which many of you are familiar with that track. So, and then, as is the case also with doing mini turbos on these like tight little bridge sections with the invisible walls on either side. So 26K Frenzy-less, nothing special with the combo. So we can do a lot more on this track, that's for sure. Now, what else could we talk about here? So, this is the completion now of my Tour Challenges 1. Collect the rest of the coins here. Very nice. And the quick ticket, which we will use probably to take a look at the special pipe, and I will provide a special pipe analysis with you on Sunday. And I get 5 more rubies. It looks like we have 2 of these challenge cards, which is beautiful. Okay, Oh, and we have the high-end Wicked Wing. Very nice. I do not have this, actually, so that's fantastic. That will be adding a glider to my inventory. Wonderful. That takes us up into 10th place, which is insignificant right now. We'll take a look at where things are at as the week progresses. Now, for the rest of this, I will just take a quick look out here at what things are going on. I have Black Yoshi. I could invest into Blue Birdo, but you know, look, even though I say it is a high-end game, the value of supers and certainly normals has had a precipitous decline in the second year of the game, with points uncapping, as well as level 7 was the big one because that compounded the points capping situation. It's a high-end game, so certainly we'll be going in with Black Yoshi here, and I would advise you not to just waste your super tickets willy-nilly. However, certainly when you can get a positive ROI, I've shown you how to do cost-benefit analysis in figuring out the value of what are you spending and what are you getting back through the rubies, the coins, the tickets. Determine if those moves are right for you. I already mentioned the situation with the Head Honcho versus the DK Maximum. And here we have the Dry Bowser Umbrella. Is a stronger cart in the second year of the game than was the Dragon Wings, which was extremely powerful in the first year, but has tailed off considerably. So that's what we're looking at there. We can even get the Dry Bowser Umbrella in the all clear hype. Also, same with the Head Honcho. Week 2 brought a smile to my face when I saw this. Okay, so level 7 DK Jr. is beautiful on Maple Treeway RT. And look, just because I have this driver doesn't make this an automatic win. It really doesn't, because this is already the power of the driver on my account at the moment. I can only make one more move, and that is to take it to 1400, which is a very powerful move. It would increase my scoring potential by a considerable amount, but it's the final move. And the difference in myself and my opponents isn't always matched by that. So I'm very cautious with when I will apply that. I have more than enough tickets to do so, as you already saw. But the strength of this is already on my inventory, so the opponents are matched according to that level 7 driver, which many opponents will not have that. So the other tracks will look very precarious for me to go up against their loadouts in. But this is where things look very nice. It's the Zoom Room and it's the Dream Glider. The two items I said I went into the last 100 pipe for Kamek, but it wasn't really Kamek I was looking forward to. It was this cart and glider, because Kamek is coin box and I don't want the coin box overlap to affect the drivers that I'm heavily invested into. Kamek may see investment down the road. I haven't invested into any coin boxers up until this point, and that's because I want the value of my favorite drivers to reign true until a more comprehensive and complete view of the landscape is available. And as a free-to-play player, my forwards mobility has been steady and swift. With doing this, I haven't even been a year and a half in the game and I'm already tier 54. There's potential to move up this week and in the second week, but perhaps not, given the strength of opponents. So I will view my ticket situation and relate it as such. I am not in a rush. I am in it to win the long game. So the loadout for that track is great. This is a very friendly track. We have King Boo, there are coin boxers, multiple coin boxers, there's Peach Happy, so everyone is likely to have an option here. We have the Power Wing, Supercart, one of the strongest, as well as this Banana Glider. So this is a wonderful loadout. I could enhance this. They're all ones I've invested into, so I wouldn't mind using more super tickets if needed for a positive result. And Donut Plane 2RT is where things are a little bit softer. I did pick up this Painter Luigi, which will give me a slightly higher point ceiling, but no cart, which is slightly a problem. And I believe only these final two, the Black Turbo Birdo as well as the Steel Driver, are in the all clear pipe, and that's a low percentage to pull either one of them. So here I have the White Turbo Yoshi as well as the Silver Star Shoot. So not a sensational loadout, and that's where the strength of my level 7, if there is any kind of a throttle that comes into play this tour, will make life difficult in terms of tiering up. So I never make projections without seeing what they're actually doing in the game, and then I can inform you in the comments and in chat as such. I think we've covered everything. Let's just maybe take a quick look at the shop once again. The Tokens of Plenty event will be replacing the Coins of Plenty on Tuesdays, which is unfortunate because the language is ambiguous in the report, hopefully in the news rather. And that's likely due to translation, lack of communication there, how they said that there would be a new shop when the event launches, but this is the shop, and it says specifically that the items will not be changing in this shop. So this is what we get, why they gave us a Tokens of Plenty event. Now, the Coins of Plenty, they give us 500 coins per track, which is fantastic, but we're basically out of, I believe it amounts to about 600 coins, because you get the 900 coins for the event, but you also get about 100 per track for the limit break, right? So that's roughly around 1,200 coins. Twice a week would be 2,400 coins versus 500 coins times 3 is 1,500, and then the 100 each would be 1,800. So that's about 6K difference, roughly speaking. All for a token shop that is not featuring any premium items that cost extra. So a questionable move there. And, you know, certainly if you want to let the developers know that, you know, look, it's one thing to have the event and it seems like fun, but to do it at the expense of us in another way, certainly it would have been nice if they offered 600 coins. That would bring it a bit closer to the value of having Coins of Plenty on 2 days per week in a tour. My daily selects, nothing special today, just super tickets. In the tier shop, we already mentioned Monty Mole doesn't have a ton of value, but you know, he has more than another character, which I will get to in a second actually. The head honcho aforementioned, as well as the Butterfly Sunset, is a common one. Looks like I have no high-end tickets, but I will take a look at Diddy Kong. Somebody gave me a mention online and they showed, hey wait, it received a middle shelf track buff. This is the first time they've touched Diddy Kong in about 2 years, which is remarkable. Maybe they are listening. Certainly it helps to see that they did something with this character because it is a beloved character. It does have racing game pedigree. That's what launched my interest in the genre into Mario Kart, and it certainly is true for many other players, some of which haven't been able to hold on as long as I have. And it would be nice to see more people in the community with these other interests, such as the Waluigi, which I mentioned. It's great to see Waluigi get a character. You know, it'd be great to see Wario and Donkey Kong, and as well as Diddy Kong, you know, receive an alt character when applicable. Look, we don't need a flood of these alternative characters. We want to see the main characters get their fill. Tanooki Mario is a wonderful example of that because he is one of the most beloved alts. It's not just like a cheap alt that's coming into the game. It's on the top of people's most wanted list. So maybe they are listening to the feedback from not just myself, but the whole community in general, wanting higher quality Mario characters, as well as doing more with some of these forgotten characters. It does spark a little bit of optimism, although that middle shelf track buff is not very useful to Kong fans because they put a Kong on the top shelf, which I am extremely grateful for. I am extremely grateful that DK Jr. is there, but if they were to do a Diddy Kong Cup with Maple Treeway RT, he would just be running into the high-end version of DK Jr. So, with all that out of the way, should you folks pull on this pipe? Look, he's a beloved character, so, and it looks fantastic, really fantastic. Have fun doing your pipe pulls if this is a character you really want, but do it responsibly. Have those 450 rubies and guarantee the character. I've heard too many stories of players going in. You saw what happened to me with Kamek. If I didn't have all these rubies, it would have been a really bad story. So, you know, we want to make sure everyone has the outcome that they desire, and you know, that's what makes the game, you know, fun and joyous to play. So that's the disclaimer. Go into it, have fun with it, but do it responsibly. And here we go. Second free pipe. I already said I had the Koopa Clan. This one is also green. What will it be? Okay, Flower Glider, 1,000 coins. That's pretty cool. Okay, I'm on board with that. Third free pipe, also green. Okay, pipe buggy. Coins once again. Interesting. I don't have that many things maxed out. Please do share your support with the channel by leaving a thumbs up on this video. That will help share and promote the information that I share with the value of these things and my detailed strategic analysis of the game. As a free-to-play player, look, things are very stringent in terms of strategy, and if you are free-to-play, I certainly hope that I make things light and enjoyable for you to follow along with, as well as improve your game. And if you're gold pass or pay to win and you look at these optimizing strategies that we do in free-to-play, the sky's the limit, and you're going to crush it. You probably are anyway, but otherwise, do share your support. Leave a subscription on the channel, and look forward to the content that is going to go into more detail on how Nintendo does these buffs. I've already kind of leaked out that information gradually and letting you know ahead of time when things are going to get hot. We've had a good track record here, and you will see why when that content is finally brought to you live. I will do that in segments and take the feedback for what the things are that you're looking forward to, but there is a specific frame of reference in going into that. I hope everyone enjoys this tour, and I will be seeing you with the special pipe analysis when it goes live. Take care and have a good one, everyone. See ya.